We are now on air. Time for a total takeover.
It's finally here. Welcome to a new episode.
It's about to go down.
Good morning and God bless us. Yours truly, Dan Adams, a.k.a. the Soulful Conservative, DA and the Prosecutor, coming to you live once again from the Political Heat Remote Studios, a.k.a. The Vehicle. It is Monday morning, Manic Monday, whatever Monday that facilitates what's going on in your life, that's where we are at. And speaking of where we are at, I'm not in the best of moods. My Pittsburgh Penguins lost in overtime in Game 7 to the New York Rangers last night. Never should have gotten to that point. We should have won Game 6 here at home. But, I don't know. These first round exits these last few years, it's just not sitting well with me right now. Not sitting well with me at all. And I don't know what changes need to be made. I don't know. I just need to just wallow in the mire for this morning and just say, hey, that's it. Season's over. Should have made it to the second round at least. But that's not how it works sometimes. But let's get into what's going on outside of the sports world. And I'm telling you this, ladies and gentlemen. Made a post on social media, and a lot of people are in the same mindset as I am. Everything that is happening with the Biden administration and the pain that's being inflicted on all of us at this moment is intentional. It is by design. I understand that Biden had to lurch to the left in order to some way, somehow appease his base. Or the Democrat base, I should say, because the Democrat base at this point in time has lurched so far left that they're almost right, as I say. The whole circle thing, But, comedy aside, we're in a world of hurt right now. And last week, I had a couple of shows, I believe at least. I spent a little bit, maybe even more, on this baby formula shortage. Well, come to find out, as you probably already know, that the Biden administration knew about this upcoming, pending baby formula shortage back in early February. So it is now the middle of May. And they knew about it back in early February. And the fact that over 50%, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know this, over 50% of the baby formula in America is produced and imported by China. That's right, China. And I'm thinking to myself, really? So, with the steps that Biden has taken to ensure that America is never first and is always last, and the fact that this Armstrong company, which facilitates most of the baby formula here in America, and this unfortunate bacterial outbreak that they had at some of their facilities, which caused the death of 2 infants, may they rest in peace. They had to do a complete, and I don't even know what even is even involved on a scale of cleaning a warehouse as big, and I looked at online how big some of these Armstrong facilities, warehouses, and they basically had to make sure that bacterial infection was weeded out, and then have to wait, I guess. Oh boy, this is a very bumpy road, so I appreciate, appreciate the patience in advance. But when you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where your major supplier of baby formula in America went through what they went through and then have to go through all of the hoops, which, granted, is needed because of the bacterial outbreak, but some of the red tape, some of the federal government regulation is adding to the delay, most definitely. And when you have a situation where you have babies depending on formula, some babies depending on specialized formula, I can't even imagine where up until this point you have had no issue with feeding your baby, and then all of a sudden you're joining Facebook groups and whatever group that you could possibly join, grassroots efforts in order to find baby formula for your baby. This is where we're at in America in 2022. Well, let me think about it. Back in 2020, when COVID first hit, and we didn't even know what the hell was going on, and when our economy has basically been shut down for the past year and a half plus, we're not still in full economic capacity. But that year and a half where businesses were shut down for good, where businesses were handicapped and put in a situation to where when the economy is allowed to return to some normalcy, what do you think was going to happen? The supply and demand aspect of the economy. What did you think was going to happen? And then to put the cherry on top, ladies and gentlemen, you have this current Biden administration that either has no clue of what they're doing, or, as I stated earlier, doing this on purpose, all by design, in order for us to become fully dependent on the federal government. That's how I see it. But I'm now starting to lean where it's half and half. Incompetence and the sheer wanting you and me, ladies and gentlemen, to depend on them for every aspect of our life. And that includes baby formula. I know it's Monday morning. I haven't had my coffee yet. Still trying to get my bearings. But good grief, ladies and gentlemen, did you ever think that you would be in the midst of an America where the inflation is where it's at, and let's just jump ahead and get to the point where, wow, we have a baby formula shortage and innocent babies could die potentially? I really do not know what to say. I'm up in arms over this. And for anyone out there that has an infant and is struggling to get baby formula, you're going through every avenue that you could possibly go through. All I can do right now is pray for you, because if I had a magic wand and I could just make what you need available to you right now, I would do it. In an instant, I would do it. But unfortunately, life does not work that way. And unfortunately, when individuals vote in a decrepit, cognitively delayed individual as their president, and really isn't the president of the United States. Not really. He's just a puppet. They're just propping him up, and whatever meds that they're giving him to allow him to even make appearances in public, will really let them know what cocktail they have, put in place, made up, concocted, in order for that man to make it through any type of public appearance. That would be something I would like to know. Because the man can barely, number one, hold himself up, barely contrive a sentence. Is that the right word? It's Monday morning. Excuse me if I didn't use that word correctly. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are in and you know what's crazy, ladies and gentlemen? You know when the inflation really first started hitting us, and they kept telling us it's transitory, it's not permanent, it'll be over soon. And that was, last year? And I tell you what, like I said, it's traffic this morning. Like I said, even though we were hit with COVID, and we still would like to know for certain if that was a biochemical placed upon us by the Chinese. Still believe it is. I don't have any proof right in front of me to show you, supply you. But even with that going on, and even when we was uncertain as to what extent COVID was at the time, there's no way in heck should we have shut down our economy like the way that we did. And now going forward, unless some virus is so deadly, high percentage where people are just dying, falling out, just only at that point is where you shut down the way that we shut down in 2020. That's how I see it. I don't know how you see it, but that's how I see it. And going forward, ladies and gentlemen, what is the Biden administration doing to alleviate this inflation, to alleviate this transitory inflation that they said was going to disappear in a matter of months? They're doing absolutely nothing. They are compounding the hardship for us out here. And then you have our southern border being invaded at this point. And I think I was reading something last night before I shut my phone off that Governor Abbott in Texas is about to declare an invasion at the southern border in Texas. What the F is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Governors declaring invasions at our southern border? This is where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we're at today. May 16th, 2022. We are being invaded at our southern border. And it's, as I stated, by design, on purpose, by this Biden administration. They took away, removed, revoked, turned around every Trump policy that was in place where the border was the most secure in American history. And if I had it my way, Trump would have been reelected and he would have continued his efforts. And we wouldn't be in this position where we are right now at our southern border. As I stated, it is on purpose. It is by design. I don't know if it's a hominy-prong attack against America, but you don't do things the way that you're doing it. This current presidential administration, I'm not even going to call it the Biden administration, I'm just going to call it the current presidential administration, with the puppet at arms, former Vice President Sleepy Joe Biden, all I know is every one of you who is being hit in the pocketbook by this current presidential administration and Democrat-led Congress, are you seriously going to pull the lever for the Democrats in November? And amongst our primary, I believe, here in Pennsylvania is tomorrow. And you may be a die-hard Democrat, a die-hard leftist for that matter. But are you better off? What is your financial situation? Is it better right now than what it was even with COVID in 2020? When President Trump was urging, begging to not shut down the economy. And look at where we're at because of it. And look at where we're at because I don't know if people had some type of outer body experience, some body snatching happened, and when it and as we see with everything that is happening in regards to all these investigations into the 2020 election, I mean, we have nothing concrete. I mean, big up and big props to Dinesh D'Souza for putting out 2,000 Mules and shining a spotlight on that ballot harvesting and the many mules that were set out to sway certain elections in certain districts that allowed the decrepit, cognitively delayed former Vice President Sleepy Joe Biden to to become the puppet at arms president that we have right now. For all of you who did vote for former Vice President Sleepy Joe Biden, are you regretting that decision today? With the current situation that we're in right now in America, are you still pleased and happy that you pulled that lever for the decrepit one? I want you to answer that question. And I know many leftists don't watch this, listen to this, or even engage with me on social media, but answer my damn question. Are you still happy with your vote for former Vice President Sleepy Joe Biden? We are at an apex right now, ladies and gentlemen, where if we don't turn this boat around, we are on the Titanic and about to hit that iceberg. And there is no coming back. Because there are so many things behind the scenes that are happening. And I'm not a conspiratorial type of person. But with everything that is going on and everything that these individuals are trying to put in place, and with the current presidential administration falling in line with said steps, falling in line with the global reset that is about to happen, I don't know what is going to come of it. I don't know how here in America that we're going to be affected by it. But ladies and gentlemen, if you don't recognize the state of America, and I wake up every day and I just have to shake my head. I have to just like put my hands in my face. I have to just get on my knees and pray and hope that God intervenes. because I don't know what the future holds for us. I honestly do not know what the future holds for America. And I thought I would never say that. I was almost in that state during the 8 years of the Obama presidency. But it was turning around. It was turned around to a certain degree during the Trump presidency. And there could have been some things that he could have did to ensure that he got reelected. But I think the powers that be made sure that he didn't get reelected. So ladies and gentlemen, as you go about your day, it is mundane Monday, manic Monday, whatever way and means that you need to prop yourself up, to energize yourself and get yourself back in the game and put on the full armor of God and fight, then you do it. Until next time, God bless you and yours. Peace.
President Biden meeting with leaders from 10 Asian nations today. Ukraine will certainly be part of today's agenda. President Biden hosting members of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations for a two-day summit. The White House wants them to be more outspoken on Ukraine, but several countries in the region rely on Russia either for military equipment or economically. Next week, President Biden will travel to Japan and South Korea.
Tonight, as the Supreme Court appears poised to reverse nearly 50 years of abortion rights.
It's demeaning to make a woman feel like she doesn't have a decision.
Amy, you just heard Michelle refer to the anti-abortionists as terrorists, and she has a point.
The court will surely suffer for this shattering self-own to its own legitimacy.
The concern is that it's going to lead to other things, that it's a slippery slope.
There have been real concerns that this does go beyond abortion.
Why wouldn't they think it'd be an infringement on other rights, a restriction, a removal of other rights?
Next, they'll go after gay marriage and maybe the board, what is it, Brown versus Board of Education?
Yeah, gay marriage, maybe even interracial marriage.
The right for interracial marriage.
They already eroded our voting rights a little bit.
I hope there will be a national uprising, but I'm concerned that the stomach for that isn't there.
A conversation about civility feels like it misses the mark. So far, all of the protests have seemed overwhelmingly nonviolent.
It also shows a leader what it feels like to lose your freedom of choice. He cannot leave the house easily, so maybe that's a good lesson for them.
I would like to find out who the leaker is so I could make sweet love to that person. And if the leaker, a lot of people are saying it could be a conservative, if the leaker is a Republican, and if I get pregnant during our lovemaking, I will joyfully abort our fetus and let them know.
This morning, mounting concerns for panicked parents as the nation's baby formula shortage shows no signs of letting up. Across the country, the out-of-stock rate is over 40%, a figure the White House disputes.
We go to buy formula, everything is gone.
The CEO of formula maker Perrigo, one of the big four manufacturers, predicting this shortage could last the rest of the year. The empty shelves forcing desperate moms like Katie Miller to use social media to find the formula she needs to feed her twin daughters.
When you go to all of the stores within a 2-hour radius and you can't find what you need and have to resort to other measures, it's really stressful.
The Biden administration vowing to import more formula from abroad, from countries like Mexico, Chile, Ireland, and the Netherlands. And Congress expected to take legislative action this week to immediately address the shortage.
We have to be as fast as possible, but as cautious as possible so that we have safety.
This emergency, which is amplified in low-income communities, is shedding light on the nation's reliance on the $55 billion formula industry, with doctors hoping this will be a wake-up call.
The University of Mississippi Medical Center tells me that for everyone out there who says, just breastfeed, it's critical to remember that many people, they just can't do that due to health or working conditions, lack of paid leave, and access to those critical resources like a breast pump. And this makes formula even more important to millions of parents.
That is especially true when it comes to the climate crisis, which is why we will work together and continue to work together to address these issues, to tackle these challenges, and to work together as we continue to work operating from the new norms, rules, and agreements that we will convene to work together on, to galvanize global action. With that, I thank you all. This is a matter of urgent priority for all of us, and I know we will work on this together.
What should we do if a parent requests that we refer to their child by the pronouns associated with their sex, assigned at birth, instead of their preferred pronouns or their pronouns, and that we use their legal name instead of a student's chosen name?
So I could respond with something that I've done. This came up for me. It's come up in a couple different ways, but it's come up for me where caregivers asked, I actually referred to their child's name in an IEP meeting using the name that the child had asked to be referred to and their chosen pronouns. And the caregivers reacted really strongly and then followed up with me and the principal and said, like, I noticed that you were using a different name than my child's given name at birth and the pronouns that we gave them. And I'm respectfully asking that you use the name and the pronouns that we gave them. So the laws in every state are different, obviously, and I can't speak to the laws in everyone's particular state. But I will say, again, the resources that we'll give you after this have some helpful sites where you can go and look up what the rules are for your state. But before I responded to the caregiver, I made sure that I had I ran it by my principal and my superintendent just to make sure that that they had my back. And then I responded, I chose my words carefully and I said, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I tried to really like affirm what the caregiver was asking me. Like in terms of, I was like, I hear you saying that, you're feeling uncomfortable with me, using the child's preferred name and pronouns. And I hear that you're using different ones at home. Here at school, the expectation is that all of my students feel comfortable and welcome in my classroom. So in my classroom, I will refer to your child by whatever name and pronouns that they've told me they feel most comfortable with. And just have that be it. Almost like the guidelines that I try to use when I'm like explaining hard topics to my students, like less is more. I just say like, it sounds like that really works for you at home and you can absolutely choose to do whatever you'd like at home in my classroom. And I even say like every year I start out my year by like sending home information to caregivers that says like, just so you know, like this is an affirming class. Like one of the ways I affirm students is I call them by the names that they asked to be called by and use their correct pronouns. So just like really, I just told them that maybe that's not helpful, but I just told them no. Like respectfully no. And because I had my principal and my super's support, there wasn't much they could do. And they eventually kind of found another another like topic to like squawk about, and they sorry, that's not professional, but anyway, and they left that alone. They kind of got over it.
Similarly to what Kieran said, at my school district, LGBTQ plus students have a Bill of Rights. And the fourth one is that they have the right to be referred to by their gender pronoun and name that fits their gender identity. And similarly, there was a situation where a parent felt that the school was not doing what they wanted them to do. And I don't know if we were even respectful about it. We were just like, no, that's sorry. Like our district-wide rule is that the student determines that, not you, even though you are the parent.
Ours is the same. And again, it really speaks to where you're working, what the district is, the state laws, and having the backing of your administration and your superintendent and the district that says this is our policy, and I'm going to follow the policy.
Do you believe in abortion after birth? Would you support that?
I believe in whatever the woman wants to choose to do, that's her choice.
At any point of the child's life?
At any point of the lady's life, that's her choice.
To kill another person's body?
It's going to always be her choice.
Even after the baby's born?
It's always her choice.
So if they're 2 years old?
It's always her choice.
I can kill my 2-year-old?
It's a woman's right to choose.
to kill their child at any point.
Woman's right to choose.